ready.
All right. Speaking of Dateline in 2020, welcome to the Basement League
Show! We're one down. Thickness is not here. We're a little bit thin today.
We're not thin.
We're not thin at all.
We're not
Look at
thin.
us. We actually get a little bit of
We get a
space,
little-
but I feel like, how do we fit in? How do all three of us fit in
I
this
don't
tiny little
know.
space? It's weird.
We're some big broad-shouldered dudes.
Yeah, but guys, like and subscribe, please. Check us out. Hit the bell icon so you know when everything comes out.
Facebook, Instagram. You'll see a new video every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Check us out. Stay subscribed. Today we're talking about the Batman.
The Batman.
Not
Batman. Not Batman animated series.
Not Batman 89. Not The Batman Begins.
Not Batman Forever.
Literally the Batman.
Which
And
Robert Patterson
He is the Batman.
100% the
Holy
Batman.
People that called him all sparkly and Batman's gonna sparkle and Batman's gonna this and that, referencing Twilight, which was
I'm guilty.
we're all
I'm not gonna lie,
actually
I'm
no.
guilty.
I had all the faith in him because I'd seen other movies besides Twilight.
I seen The Lighthouse and that was amazing, but I was also
He rocked it.
He's probably the most believable person as Batman that I have ever seen, and then this includes the animated series. Sorry, Kevin Conroy.
He played a good Bruce. He played a good Batman. He was good. He was it.
The movie itself was 3 hours long.
It's a long one. It's something to sit through.
It's not Titanic long.
No.
It
Actually,
is,
I think
but
it's longer than Titanic.
But here's the thing: it doesn't feel like you're sitting for 3 hours. Maybe the second or third time you watch it, you might want to skip through stuff. But
the first time you watch it, I'm not gonna say it breezes right through, but it goes, even for a slower paced movie, it goes through pretty quick.
Like,
there's enough action to fill those.
Yeah, you're entranced immediately. Like, it opens up with
it starts off with the big bold block letters of the
Batman, where you feel like you just bought a graphic novel and it's in your face. You unwrapped it, it's right there. Beautiful. Like, the entire movie, he did such a good job. The lighting, everything just felt real. Like, it wasn't like that Dark Knight where you're in there and everything's feel like you're in nighttime. This had day, dusk. It had, you're inside buildings or on top of buildings. You're like everywhere in it. So you have so much scenery. You forget.
For starters, you don't get the typical Batman start. It kind of alludes to it. It makes you think you're going to get that start by showing a kid. He's all dressed up, playing with a sword. You think you're going to see that Bruce Wayne origin story of parents getting murdered, yada, yada, yada. But it just jumps right into the story of showing, what's his name? Don Mitchell Jr. Running for mayor. And in the creepiest way, you get your first look at the Riddler, where he's
immediately
just hiding in the shadow. Well, first you
realize, like a serial killer.
You realize that you're viewing from his perspective with binoculars, looking from across the street or wherever he's at.
Yep.
And you're watching this man. It pans up and he sees the skylight that's opened up, so he knows a way to sneak in, and then he's just literally waiting in the shadows. The TV flashes and all of a sudden he's there, but then all of a sudden he's gone. Like, it's creepy and like grungy and dark right off the bat, just like really freaking you out.
And you get a kill scene, a brutal kill scene. This isn't like a Joker silly pencil disappear trick. This is like a brutal murderers.
You find out later it's with a carpet tucker.
Like, heavy. And this guy is,
from an upward angle, you just see him pounding down on this dude.
Like, you don't see that go into the dude's head, which you know it's happening.
Yeah, you don't see the damage.
They kept it PG-13, which I'm actually very impressed how.
They dropped a couple F-bombs. Was it PG-13?
PG-13. Jesus. You don't actually see very many. I don't think you see the brutality of the deaths.
No, you really don't. But I'm just thinking how many times they said that they dropped F-bombs.
I don't know how they did it, but they kept it PG-13. It's not rated R.
I don't know why. I thought it was rated R. Okay, awesome.
No.
They did a good job, I guess.
Did a really good job.
Under the radar.
Let's talk about Riddle a little bit. Like, his story arc was very it's taken from the comic books, but this version of him
it's a little different from your typical typical Riddler story, or kind of story, his origin story.
Yeah. You don't get the Edward Nygma. You don't know who he is. The whole thing is awesome because they don't know who the Riddler is. Like, we see him, but we don't even know who he is.
You don't learn his name until pretty much the third act of the movie.
Yeah. And you don't even know, you don't know his motive. Because in all these movies, you hear the guys talk about their motive constantly. Yeah. And then you kind of bored, there's no excitement. You're like, okay, Batman's going to stop you. This movie, you had no idea, nothing. And Batman wasn't the best. No. He was still learning. He's still learning. You find out he's in year 2. So.
He was a decent detective along the way. He was spotting some of the smaller details that the cops were missing, but the general big picture, he was always falling behind. He had no chance, no ability to save anything.
He definitely wasn't like 40-year-old Bruce where he just knows instantly can find the Riddler and it's boom, I already know what this is.
But there was no saving Coulson, there was no saving Don Mitchell, Pete Savage. He had no chance, no ability to save anybody, and the
Riddler was
Riddler was being relentless about it.
What's awesome about it is you see Riddler's unraveling as he's going. Which is incredible because you don't get to see that. We never got to see Heath Ledger's Joker unravel.
No.
And Jared Leto's, even in the remake and stuff of the Justice League, you don't see it.
He's a little unhinged, but you don't see him truly rattled.
Yeah, and then
you get to see
Riddler's character fall apart.
What's his name? Paul Dano.
Oh my God.
When he whether he's kind of winning or losing, when you see his character get rattled, he has the physical not physical comedy. He has the physical acting to just show the irritation, show the joy, show the the nonchalantness of when he's in the third act when he's getting picked up by the cops and his face is just kind of he's looking right into the camera and he kind of smiles but he kind of goes deadpan a little bit again he has the perfect.
He has it, and even when he's killing. He's just very
physical.
He's very brutal, he's throwing his whole body into it. And then when it's done, it's almost like a relief. He's oh. It is wild. You're did he kill that dude? A lot of times you had to stop and think about Riddler. I'm he's killing these dudes and they're Batman, you're thinking Batman's gonna catch him now. Because he knows he has a pattern, but you start realizing this Batman is not.
He's not the detective.
He's not the detective.
He's on his way to be. He's on the way to be world's greatest detective.
But he's not.
It constantly reminds you that he is only year 2.
Yes, very young, very stupid, and then
holy shit,
very stupid. He just
not stupid per se, but he's like I said.
His brain, this Batman. Okay, let's talk about Robert.
He misses the bigger picture.
Because. Year 2 Batman in comic books is brutal. Year 1 is great because he's trying to get to where he wants to be, where he's figuring out how to do this. Year 2 is he's failing, he doesn't know how to get better, and then he's just angry all the time. So he just starts taking it out on criminals.
He's physical.
Very physical.
Think
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Yeah. Very physical.
Right off the bat though, you see that in the movie where it's the nice misleading. You see all the 3 different types of criminals that they're looking into the shadows, wondering if he's going to be there. And then finally, with the you hear the emphasis on the boot steps. So it's just it's a clunk, clunk.
That suit is. I love the fact that suit wasn't molded to his body to show all those abs and big pecs. It was body armor shaped to put the fear of God in man.
Yeah.
And then his bottoms weren't molded to his butt and all that stuff. His bottoms were fire retardant, firefighter pants.
He had kind of looser, not super baggy or anything, but he had looser cargo pants on.
They were the Navy will put flame retardant pants.
Yeah.
So he had armor under it, so he wouldn't catch fire.
But he had the flexibility to to duck low or to jump or leap or something.
To jump, leap. Throw a kick, but this isn't like a kung fu flick, guys. He's not out there doing flips and stuff. This is
he's not ninja
brutal, real fight. What you would see in the Octagon, a very real fight. He's getting beat up.
Looks It looks like he's throwing a little like Krav Maga. He's throwing different. Yeah. He's throwing different like boxing and close combat.
Yeah,
style
but just brutal. Think Van Affleck's warehouse scene, and then turn it up to 11. That
was a brutal scene.
That was a brutal scene, but that was old Batman.
Yeah,
that was old and broken down. This is a young, strong. I'm getting to where I need to be, Batman.
Just whipping these dudes,
just hurting them because he knows he's got to do it. Yeah. They all have guns and knives.
Yeah, he's got to be faster and more aggressive because he doesn't use any type of weaponry short of a batarang. Actually, he didn't have much for like batarangs and like throwables. Watching it the second time around just now.
No, he didn't use.
He had his
grapples.
He had his grappling hooks. Yeah, but even in the final battle, he hooks a tiny explosive device to a fire extinguisher, and that's what creates the smoke.
Yeah.
We don't see him with any smoke bombs. I don't particularly remember him throwing any batarangs or anything like this.
Sure. You got to think about it, he learns all that from Raish.
Yeah,
and the League of Assassins.
This is very you don't think about those things until you see it like kind of the second time.
Yeah.
And this is not a League of Assassins trained Batman. This is a Alfred British Secret Service boxing Krav Maga like
Gotham City
close quarter street fighting trained Batman.
Like it's like you see him breaking dudes' bones out of necessity.
Yeah,
this isn't just the anger. He's doing it with purpose because he knows if he doesn't put them down, they'll get back up. And a lot of these guys get back up because he's not huge. You can tell that he's not a big guy. So you feel but the thing is, he does strike the fear into people. It's not like, oh, let's get him. It's more like,
it's necessarily padded.
Very padded, bulletproof. You see him get shot from close range several times.
He gets hit with a bat a few times, like...
Yeah. Exploding, the letter bomb blew up, and he still survived.
Coulson with the neck bomb.
Yeah. And the whole entire movie, he's just taking damage. And then when you see him as Bruce Wayne, he has black eyes.
Yeah.
He's got bodies just scarred up from knife wounds, gunshot wounds. You just kind of feel bad because you're just like, man, he needed to be better trained. And then you find out Alfred trained him.
So he's got, so far, the best training he can get.
Yeah. And then the suit itself is just, if I saw him in the dark and I didn't know there's no Batman in comic books or I didn't see him, and you saw him, I would shit my pants. The dude's, what's Robert Pattinson, like 6'1", 6'2"?
He's about my height. I think he's about 6'1".
So you got a 6'1" guy, taller, because he's probably wearing 3-inch boots that are steel plated all the way around.
Just about, I'm sure.
And better to kick you in the dick, I guess.
Yeah, God. Or break a kneecap or something, or
dude,
just all sorts of hurt are coming from those boots.
But we actually saw the very first Batman swing.
When?
You saw it twice.
I know. I'm just trying to think of the scene.
Okay, so when he drops into the water, you see him swing for the first time in any movie, and then he swung. Then he swung through the rafters several times. Actually, when he's swinging, we saw him swing.
Okay.
We've never seen Batman swing. You always see him rappel down or get shot up with his thing, because they said it would be steep. It's not realistic for him to swing.
When he first drops down into the rafters, he pulls out his double grappling hook, one in both hands, one in each hand.
And then he comes down and literally swings up and over.
And he flips back. He jumps and flips back.
Oh my God!
And then swings down to the what's it called, the Jumbotron.
Yes, the first time we ever saw a Batman in real life swing. We've never seen him. He doesn't swing at anything. He repels up with somebody. I searched, dude.
No,
if someone has a scene of him swinging in a movie, live action movie,
I was going to say Batman vs Superman, the fight during Doomsday, but it's more of just like he grapples from one thing and then has to quickly grapple to the next thing.
Yeah, he's shooting. Pulling him. He's not actually Spider-Man.
He's not really swinging.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's the first I saw that and I almost counted it. But I'm like, he's not really. The grapple's doing the work for him.
He just moves fast and he grapples and kind of jumps and pulls himself into the next direction.
Yeah, it's not really swinging. We saw him swing and let go.
Yeah,
Multiple times though when he's doing it, but it was really cool. I know that's not that exciting. Everybody's like, why? You don't get it. Ever since the animated series came out in the 90s, I just wanted to see Batman actually swing.
Yeah.
Because it's so cool. It's like the coolest thing ever. And then in the Batman cartoon, he literally stops Batgirl from swinging for her first time because he said if you need a special cable.
Yeah.
He's like, I have the only cable on Earth that can take it where it won't break your arms. Because it would literally break your arms to do it. And that's why he just explained it from the comic books. Like, that's why he's able to do that.
Yeah.
Because you need a special cable that when you go down, the cable stretches enough that it doesn't tear your shoulders out of the socket.
Yeah, the momentum doesn't force your body in dislocation of shoulder.
Yeah. So that was cool to see him actually swing. And then it made sense.
Of course, that would be a specific detail, though, for Batman.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the only one with this.
Because he's rich. He's a billionaire, folks. For all you billionaires that are watching us. The gear is awesome. The belt, I love the fact it's not flat. It does make sense that Batman would have this tiny little flat belt around his waist. It does make sense to have a Captain America type belt full of crap that he needs. Because he needs it. He did. He's wearing a military surplus belt, utility belt.
I mean, he does have a few pouches here and there for whatever he carries. Because, like I said a minute ago, we don't see him with many projectiles.
No, but it's like stuff that he needs.
Yeah, practical.
Detective type. This way, he's pulling stuff out and all that. And the greatest thing ever is the contacts.
Yeah.
That he has that's constant recording everything.
When he pulls them out and puts it on that little machine, that was pretty dope.
Yeah, I felt bad. He put those in Catwoman's eyes. Were those clean? How do you clean that?
I'm sure he washed them.
But let's segue into Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz.
Moving to she looked fine. Zoe Kravitz. I mean, she's always been good looking, but she
looked like Selena Kyle.
Exactly. The short hair, the outfit, it wasn't the same material as her outfit. It was just a ski mask with bigger eye holes cut into it. With the slightly instead of always like her little pointed ears Dark Knight Rises for Anne Hathaway. She had the thing with the super pointy ears. Same thing with Michelle Pfeiffer. Same thing with Michelle Pfeiffer. She had and Halle Berry. They had the super pointy ears. Hers were just a soft, like kind of what looks. It looked like the hat. It looked like a normal cat ears. It looked like a comic book accurate Catwoman, mask.
The newspaper calls her Catwoman. She actually doesn't call herself Catwoman. She's just
Batman.
She's just
in
Selena.
This movie, Batman doesn't even call her Catwoman. He constantly calls her Selena. She once references herself as Catwoman at the very end of the movie when she finally says, "I thought this would be the Cat and the Bat." Yeah.
But you see, she does a really good job. She plays, of course, famed Selena Kyle. Yeah. Catwoman.
Batman's love interest.
Everything you know that you ever seen in any movie, wipe it out because
they make her a badass.
She's not this, I'm just here to steal some jewels and I'll get caught up in some. She's there for a reason. And of course, in comic book knowledge and history, she is the daughter of Carmine. So you find that out in the movie that that is her half. I guess it would be his not half daughter, her dad. But then you find out in the comic books because she thinks she's related to the Roman. But she's actually Carmine's, Falcone's daughter, and she has a half sister. Yeah, supposedly, spoiler, I think, or somebody. And I'd have to look. Spoiler, Huntress. You find out that I think Huntress is Catwoman's half sister.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It might be. No, it wouldn't be spoiler. That's Stephanie Brown.
Stephanie Brown. I'm thinking of
her dad was Clue Master.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Huntress.
Yeah, it might be Hunt.
Yeah, because her dad is the Roman.
Is it?
Yeah.
I also know that they I think it's the Batman Eternal storyline. Mm-hmm. That's another time that they revealed that her dad is actually the Roman. He's in jail with Gordon because people believe Gordon blew something up or did something.
Yeah.
I forget the Batman Eternal.
I don't remember. He blew something. Somebody framed him. He didn't blow it up.
Well, his son James Gordon Jr. framed him for it. Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about his son.
He was like the psychopath.
Dang, Batman Eternal. I haven't read that in a minute.
It's from 2013 13.
Yeah, I gotta go back and read that. I forgot about the son.
It's already almost 10 years old. But I like that they kept it. I like it that they kept it to the original. That she's Falcone's daughter.
In that she's a boss. She's not some weak girl.
She's not,
She didn't actually need Batman to help. In fact, in the movie, you kind of feel like she's kind of teaching Batman how to get through the seedy underbelly of Gotham.
Yeah. She's being more teacher than she's being more mentor than just
because Batman apparently knows absolutely nothing about his past.
He doesn't know anything about Gotham. He might be keeping his ear to the ground and shit, but he
doesn't know anything about anything.
He's still that year 2 rich kid with a spoon in his mouth.
This whole thing was like the Court of Owls is like the path that they're taking, but I don't know if they're actually going to go down that path.
I would love to see a live action Court of Owls.
Because you would need to start with Hush, and then end in the Court of Owls.
And I mean, they kind of allude to Hush in this with the mention of the writer. I can't remember his name, but it was something Elliot.
Yeah, they did. They related to a lot of different people in this.
The idea of a cover up and all this and like all this deception, and then brightly in the same fashion as the graphic novel Hush has the same kind of gritty feel. Oh yeah, I love that when it goes up. This whole movie was amazing because the whole plot line is Riddler's killing people based on the corruption of Gotham.
And the corruption goes way deeper than anybody thought it would.
And we called it that they would follow the storyline of Thomas Wayne.
Yes.
Seeking help from
Carmine Falcone. Which is also sad because they did follow that storyline. But then you find Bruce is starting to find out this stuff, but it's like it's ringing it's like glass shattering all around him about his dad.
He's realizing his dad is not the good. He's still a good guy. Even Alfred says your father was a good man. Good people make mistakes. That saying goes, all of hell is paved with good intentions. Mm-hmm. People do things with the best intentions. It just doesn't always play out. People make mistakes. This was purely by this show alone, it makes it a great Batman movie because it shows that humans we're all infallible. We all make mistakes. Even Batman was making mistakes, and he would realize that he's making those mistakes.
He also realized that people can see through his bullshit.
Yeah.
Especially Catwoman literally knew he was a rich kid from the minute he opened his mouth because of all of his ideals. He's starting to realize like he needs to.
You sound like a rich kid.
Yep. And the whole plot point is you start seeing that Riddler may or may not know who Batman is.
Yeah.
So he definitely needs to find him to try to catch him because he knows too much. But he's uncovering so much details about his parents, about the Wayne Fund, which everybody knows what the Wayne Fund is in every single movie, comic book ever. That's what Bruce runs.
He was meant to take care of Gotham, but
and the reason why, because Bruce decided in the first 5 years of his life to ignore being Bruce Wayne and actually taking care of stuff and being
his adult life.
Yeah, it will be
not when he was 10 years old. Not when he was 10 years old.
I'm talking about Batman. When we talk about Bruce,
his first 5 years of being Batman.
He just ignores it, so the city goes even more ruined. So he realizes it's like paddling upstream. You're never going to get anywhere. So he has to go and be. Bruce is kind of his all. It's like Batman is the real him, and Bruce is the alter ego, and he has to go be this fake guy that he doesn't want to be, so he can control the city through the money, because it's all about the money. And the Wayne Foundation was grabbed by all these mobsters, and they're fought over, and a lot of it was like mob war for the money, and it wouldn't have happened if Bruce stepped up.
Yeah.
And he realizes that it's his fault. At the very end, it's brutal, sad. Because he could have stopped a lot of the killings. He could have stopped a lot of that boy from being an orphan.
I mean, even a lot of
Mitchell's son from being orphaned.
Even a lot of what Riddler says at the very end when he's talking to him while he's in Arkham, he says, "I see you now for who you are." This is the real you, like dressed as Batman. He's like, whoever you are underneath, that's the mask. That's what people don't realize is that you are the real you right now.
This is what's so cool about this movie, because this opens up so much for us. Because we have a violent Riddler.
Yeah.
We don't have a funny, laughable, find the jokes. This is more like, if you don't find the jokes, people die, which is what he's supposed to be. He's a lunatic. He's supposed to be killing people.
I do like that Catwoman was more, she was more the anti-hero style Catwoman rather than just strictly a cat burglar.
I like it because it reminds me of, like, in the series, not the animated series, but in the animated movies of her, where she's like super in love with Batman, and she'll do anything to help him. But in all actuality, she's just there to steal, get rich and leave. Yeah, she's just there.
She steals from Wayne Manor all the time. Yeah, Alfred knows she steals from Wayne Manor, and he allows it. That's how you know that, like, he knows that there's love there. Is Alfred allows her to, because she's not stealing anything like super expensive. She's stealing the lesser
silverware.
Yeah, she's stealing the silverware.
She's a kleptomaniac. She can't help herself. Yeah. So she does it, and he lets it. And I think that's cute. They're even married in the when they get comics and stuff. She's still
beautiful but terrible. Like, not terrible bad. Like, just the direction that it went at one point, where you think that they're not going to end up getting married or something like that. Like,
yeah, where you think she's going to leave.
It takes a weird left turn.
She's like, if you don't stop this, I'll leave. And then he can't. Yeah. But then she stays. Yeah.
Because they love each other.
They love each other. Talia al Ghul.
And I like the direction that they're taking Bat and the Cat, but they're still playing that, like, they flirt, but they're not.
Will they, won't they? Ross and Rachel.
The will they, won't they.
I've been waiting for it.
I personally love that.
I was happy when they got together. It was amazing.
Who we need to talk about, Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
The producer did not believe that was Colin Farrell. It is.
Yeah.
He was probably the best actor in the movie.
Yeah.
Because you didn't think that was Colin Farrell. People in the crowd probably didn't know that until the credits went up, and they're like, that must be a different guy.
It's only until he starts talking that you realize, oh, this actually is Colin Farrell, because he looks...
I see it in the eyes.
You see it, you see it in the eyes. He has certain, like, even with whatever prosthetics that he's wearing, you see it in his facial expressions, but he's got, like, he's just, his voice, even when he throws his voice like he was doing for Oswald, it's just, you can tell that it's him. But it's just wild how much it does not look like him.
Dude, he plays, like, the gangster.
All scarred up.
Like, mob, like, wars and stuff, scarred up gangster Penguin, which I love. Because I'm like, I can't believe that a guy that's shaped like a penguin is a dangerous person. But I can believe this dude...
The gangster Penguin and you see it by the end of the movie, he takes over Carmine Falcone's, enterprise. Calls him the dirty rat right before he gets shot, and, like, he's the Penguin that's not f***ing around, like.
But he does such a good job.
Gordon's getting his own.
Okay, he was like the best Jim Gordon. He did such a good job of the stress.
I know it's Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright.
It was a Jay Wright. Jeffrey Wright.
He's a solid f***ing actor.
I like the pain in his face when he's finding out, like, the cops, so many of the cops around him that he loves are corrupt. And he's just like, he knows Batman's good for the city, but it almost like pains him to have to rely on a vigilante. And he's constantly having to do things like taking punches from the Batman.
But that scene right after the punch, when they meet up on the tower where the light is, and he's like, Batman says something, and he's like, do you talking about the cops? He's like, do you trust any of them? He's like, and you kind of hear it in his tone and hear it in his voice. He's like, I trust you.
Yeah.
Like that's
how bad it is.
That's all he's got. He realizes that's all he's got at that point.
Yeah.
And you hear the defeat in Jeffrey Wright's voice, and he's just like, I trust you. The way Matt Reeves paid attention to like the small details, the things that really matter, that come full circle later on in the movie, like. Just the way he paid attention to the small details and made every little thing matter, and because it gave perspective for something else beyond just Batman. It was perfect.
It's perfect. He used we see the dark web browser, because that's how he's communicating. You find out he literally started a cult.
Yeah.
And that's the cult of the Riddler, and it was really cool to see that, because the cult of the Riddler is a real storyline, which I thought was amazing. Matt Reeves got to be a comic book fan. It's not. He's like a Kevin Feige. He's got to be a comic book fan.
Absolutely.
Because he's literally taking instances out of all these Batman stories with all these characters and inserting them in properly, not just for the hell of it.
No.
I love Spider-Man, but we all wanted to see the meme thing, and they just shoved that somewhere in there. This is everything that Matt Reeves did was for a fucking reason, and it made sense.
He did what they couldn't do. He did what they couldn't do with Batman vs Superman, which is take different reference from different comic books and actually make it work. Because from Batman's perspective, you see a little bits of Year One reference.
Yeah.
You see little bits of I think it's Gotham Knights or something.
You see Gotham Knights. You see, oh my God, it's a great series. It's you learn about, it's all about Thomas Wayne's life before Bruce even existed.